Hey guys, what's up? It's RagesSorrow here, and in this guide, I will show you how to kill the Kalphite King as an attacker, provoker, or tanker with melee. The Kalphite King is a very dangerous boss and can be hard to kill if your team know the rules. Take caution and squash the bug. Good luck on your loots, and have fun. On screen now you'll see a list of recommended levels for the Kalphite King, regardless of your role. On screen now you'll see a list of roles and their purposes when facing the Kalphite King. As long as you master all of these roles, you will succeed in every kill, regardless of whatever role you choose. On screen now you'll see a list of information regarding the Kalphite King, including all of his attacks as well as his hit points. In addition to being a dangerous boss, the Kalphite King can be very profitable to those who defeat him. Be on the lookout for these drops you can receive from him. On screen now you'll see a list of recommended weapons and armor for the Kalphite King regardless of your role. Always remember to use the best weapons and armor available to your levels or that you are able to afford. On screen now you'll see an example setup inventory that you can use if you plan on taking on the Kalphite King in the attacker role. I also have a combat bar for you guys to go with this. On screen now you'll see an example setup inventory that you can use if you plan on taking on the Kalphite King in the tank role. I also have a combat bar for you. On screen now you'll see an example setup inventory that you can use if you plan on taking on the Kalphite King in the provoker role. I also have a combat bar for you. Getting to the Kalphite King is actually pretty simple. The only thing you need to do is home teleport and go to the bandit camp. Then simply wait for the bandit camp teleport to initiate. And then wait until you arrive at the lodestone. Then simply head to the south. It's a bit of a walk, but it's a lot faster to get here than it is to some of the other bosses in RuneScape. You'll need to head south all the way past the Agility Pyramid, Ancient's Pyramid, I'm sorry. Once there, just simply head southeast, and then enter the Kalphite hive. If it's your first time here, you'll have to walk all the way around. However, if you've been here before, simply go through the tunnel. Then, wait till your team gets here, and annihilate the Kalphite King. Alright guys, before you face off against the Kalphite King in the attacker role, make sure that your teammates are ready and your quick prayers are set. Have them set to Soul Split and Turmoil. You can turn on Protect Item if you wish, however getting back to the area is just as simple as getting back to the Queen Black Dragon. Once you're ready, click on the tunnel, start the new battle, set the number of players that are going to be helping you. For this one we have 3. Set the minimum combat level, set the combat key, and set the spawn rate at which you want the king to spawn in. Then join in the battle, go inside, and head to the north. Head all the way to the north around this area, since this is normally where the Kalphite King will spawn. Now since it takes a little bit for him to spawn, go ahead and drink your overloads, drink your prayer renewal, and drink your anti-poison if that's what you brought with you. Then simply turn on your quick prayers, and wait for the Kalphite King to spawn in. Once he spawns in, you're going to want to attack immediately. Remember, as the attacker, it is up to you to deal as much damage to the king as fast as possible to get him down quickly. By doing this, you can use Slice, then another ability, back to Slice, then another ability, and then back to Slice. Rinse and repeat that over and over again. This will ensure that you always have an ability to use against the king, and you're not waiting on them to recharge. Now, if he happens to bull rush, make sure you're not standing in front of him, otherwise he will knock you all the way up into a wall. And if you're standing against the wall, he can use his wall attack and damage you heavily. Now, once you unlock your thresholds, make sure you use them. Most importantly, you want to use your Assault ability, because this will actually deal quite a bit of damage. Now, once you're up to your ultimate, make sure you use Berserk, drink a dose of your Adrenaline Potion, and then use your abilities to get back up to your thresholds again. If you happen to have Assault unlocked at this point again, make sure to use it. Using it under the effects of Berserk allows you to deal up to 5,000 damage each time that you actually attack. So there's a good chance you're going to be dealing 15,000 damage off of just that one attack. Now, make sure that whenever the Kalphite Marauders spawn, that you just keep attacking. Remember, unless you're the provoker, this isn't really going to be an issue for them to be around you. Just keep doing your job, make sure that you're dealing as much damage as you can, that way you can get down the king. Now, if you happen to see a red aura spawn around him, keep on attacking. This is basically the same as your Soul Split aura for players, meaning every bit of damage that he deals, he's going to heal. Now, if you happen to see a green aura, you're going to want to avoid attacking him during that time. The green aura is basically the siphon phase for Nex, and you don't want to hit that, because every bit of damage you deal is just going to heal him up even more. Now, if you accidentally attack it, don't be too worried. As long as you've got a good team, you can easily work through this and kill him just as fast. Now, most teams would advise against it, but during the time that he actually uses that green aura, you can kick him. If all players in the group kick him, then that will stop him from using it. Now, once the king is almost dead, simply wait for him to pop up from a burrow attack if he happens to do one, and attack him. Remember, anytime he can switch phases, so be aware of this and be prepared to switch to that protection prayer. If he happens to switch to mage, you can just stay on Soul Split, because he's not going to be able to deal that much damage. Once the king is dead, simply collect your loot, and then go back outside. Once outside, since you're the attacker, you want to make sure that you keep your adrenaline high, and then start the next instance. That's all I have for the attacker role, guys. Alright guys, before you start your kill as the tank, make sure that your protection prayers are set to protect from melee and turmoil. Remember, you can use protect item if you wish, however it is not necessary. Once you're ready to go in, simply start a new battle. Select the number of participants going in with you, their minimum combat level, and the battle key if you need one. Set the spawn to however you choose, and then head inside. Once inside, head all the way north, and wait for the king to spawn. Prepare yourself by drinking your load and your prayer renewal, as well as your anti-poisons if you brought them with you. Now you may notice that I have a yak. The reason for that is as the tank, since you are taking the most damage, you want to make sure that you can survive the entire kill, or multiple kills. That's why we bring the yak. Once the king is about to spawn, simply turn on your prayers. And then once the king spawns, immediately start attacking. Now, right away, you want to provoke the king onto you. You want to maintain this through the entire fight. This will ensure that your provoker and your two attackers, or one attacker, doesn't die. Now remember, as the tank, you are going to be absorbing damage. You also have a secondary role as a second attacker. You want to make sure that you're dealing as much damage to the king as possible to make sure that you get it down quickly. Now remember, the Kalphite Marauders will be spawning. Now as the tank, it is your job to move the king away from the Marauders. This way it is easier on your provoker. Now if you happen to turn green, that's okay, don't worry. As long as your provoker provokes it off of you and protects you, you're going to survive. Now, immediately after the provoker has provoked the king and protected you, provoke it back. This is going to be your job throughout the entire kill, making sure that the king stays on you and that you protect everyone else. Now, I can't stress this enough. If you happen to get in the way of the bull rush attack, move away from him. Now, if he happens to knock you into the wall with it, move away from that wall. You don't want to be standing against the wall, because while you're standing against the wall, the king will deal massive amounts of damage. Remember, if you happen to turn a green again, don't worry about it. As long as your provoker is good, they're going to protect you. Now, if you happen to see the auras, such as the green one or the red one, then you know exactly how to deal with this. Now, you need to move away from the king. You need to move him away from the Kalphite Marauders any time that they are spawned around him. This will make it easier on your provoker. Now, if the king doesn't exactly decide to follow you, remember to provoke it back from whoever, has it right then. Now, if you happen to go in mage phase as the tanker, it's your job to make sure that the king spawns away from any of the active spheres, as well as the marauders. When he burrows down, simply move away from the marauders and the spheres. Now, dealing with the mage phase is actually pretty easy. Now, if you're tanking, you're going to be able to take a couple of these hits every now and then. However, not all the time. Remember, you don't want to stand next to a wall throughout the kill. Just make sure that you kill the king, and you should be fine. Now, in the tank role, you're going to follow the same protocol as before. Go outside, maintain your adrenaline, and that's it. That's all I have for the tank role, guys. Guys, for the final role, the Provoker, make sure you have your prayers set to Soul Split and Turmoil. Once you're all set, start a new battle and head inside. Do the same thing as before. Number of people with you, including yourself. Minimum combat level to join. Battle key if you need one. Set the spawn rate, and then head inside. And then head to the normal spot to the north. And then just wait for the king to spawn. Make sure you drink your overloads and your prayer renewal, as well as your anti-poison before the king spawns. Now remember your role. Your job is to protect the tank from being killed by the one-hit KO move. So don't worry about provoking it until he turns green. Then simply turn on your quick prayers and wait for the king to spawn, and then start attacking. Now you can start out the battle dual wielding. Just make sure that you switch to the shield sometime early on. That way, just in case the king decides to turn someone green early, you're prepared. Now, if at any time the king happens to use his bull rush charge, make sure you're not standing in front of it. It's fine if you are, because he's not going to really deal that much damage with it at all, but it's better on the safe side to stay away from it. Now remember, the king may not always turn someone green throughout the kill. You may get lucky and avoid having to use provoke altogether. Remember, whenever he changes colors, either if he changes to green for range or blue for mage, remember to change to that. However, as I stated before, if he changes to mage, you don't really have to worry about switching your protection prayer. You can just stay on Soul Split. Throughout the kill, make sure you're dealing as much damage, and make sure that you're keeping your role and protecting the tank. Remember, if he burrows, just follow where the tank goes. The tank should move him away from all of the other marauders, and this will keep you from having to waste your resonance whenever you do provoke. Just make sure to get the king down as quickly as possible, and remember, no matter what happens, you are responsible for everyone else's survival. Make sure that you use provoke when necessary, and use your resonance sparingly, because you don't know when he's going to use his one-hit KO attack again. If you happen to get in an area where there are a lot of marauders around, don't worry, you can simply use barricade to protect yourself. But that's pretty much all the advice I can give you on all these roles, guys. I'd like to thank you for watching my guide. If you enjoyed it and you found it informative, then feel free to leave a like rating. I would also like to give a special thanks to some of the people that helped me make this guide. Hentai WTF, Lori, Luckstage U, Mill594, and the Gruffalo. Thank you guys for helping me make this guide. If you are new to my channel and you would like to see more videos from me, either on the EoC or on 07, then feel free to subscribe. But that's all the time I have for this guide, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, peace, and thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.